Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Shin Ultraman. Now, this version of Ultraman comes from the 2022 film Shin Ultraman, which I've reviewed on this channel, so I won't go into too much detail. If you want to know, my more in-depth thoughts, then check out that video, but in short, I really like Shin Ultraman. I think it's a very good movie. It's not as powerful as Shin Godzilla, but still, Shin Ultraman is still a great movie, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. So, yeah. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. Let's just get right into this. Like usual, to start this review, we'll take a look at the paint first, and the painting on this figure, I think, is pretty solid, so let's take a closer look. So, all the figure, like most of the parts on this figure are casted in this, this dark red coloration, which I think looks nice. Of course, a lot of this figure is just like metallic silver as well, which, again, everything here is painted nicely. Nothing was like bleeding outside the lines or anything like that. Everything, that should be painted, is painted how it should. And one last thing to point out here, the eyes here, they're glass eyes, so I think this gives the figure so much character and so much personality. And yeah, I just think the glass eyes looks really good here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the painting here. Not a whole lot to say. It looks nice. Like everything that is painted should be painted, but Shin Ultraman is mainly just two colors. So I mean, there's not a whole lot to say here except the painting on this figure is pretty solid. So yeah, the painting on this figure, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure I think is mostly solid, so let's take a closer look at that. So right off the bat, the base of the head is on a ball joint, so we can look up about that far and down about that far. The base of the neck is on a ball joint, but I think a lot of the head movement here I think is very limited compared to the other SH Figuarts Ultraman figures that I looked at on this channel. That's the highest I can make him look up. And the packaging has him looking up higher than this, so I don't know how they were able to do it, but I wish he can look down decently, but he just can't really look, that far up, which again, a little disappointing. But I digress. The shoulders can move outwards like so, and his arms can rotate. We have a double bend in each of the elbows here. The wrists are on hinges, so he can move up and down like so and rotate 360. I have a ball joint for the upper torso and another ball joint for the lower torso. Shin Ultraman can kick this far forward and backwards not very much. He can spread about that much. And we do have a little bit of thigh rotation here for each of the thighs. We have a double bend in both of the knees here. The feet are on swivel so they can rotate 360. It can pivot like so and move downwards a little bit. And the toes are on hinges. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. And overall, I think I wish the head, I wish there was more articulation in the head. I wish you could look up more, but overall, the articulation on this figure I think is very nice. All of the joints are very tight, not too tight, but tight enough to where this guy can hold a pose very easily. And yeah, overall, the articulation here is very solid, so the articulation, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. This figure does come with a few accessories, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed here. This figure comes with 3 different kinds of hand pieces to swap out with the hands that already come on the figure, which is cool, but I kind of wish there was more. The other SH Figuarts Ultraman figures that I had to look at, they had the Specium Ray, they had the original Ultraman at least had that spinning disc thing. And there's just nothing here other than just a few interswappable hand pieces, which I'm sorry, I think that's like kind of lame. Even like the alternate hands, like even those figures that I reviewed like back in April or something like that, even they or not April, June, July, whenever I reviewed the SH Figuarts Ultraman and Ultraman Tiga, they at least had like, 5 or 6 different like, types of hands to swap with, but this guy only has 3, and yeah, this is pretty disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the accessories here. Now, we'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure I think is pretty much perfect. I think it's, pretty spot on to what we see in Shin Ultraman, all the proportions look good, nothing's too big or too small or looks out of place. The proportions here, I think, look really nice. One minor nitpick I have with this figure, I don't know if it's just mine, but this leg here kind of sticks out more than the other leg, so whenever you try to make them, him stand with like his legs closer together, he kind of like stands at an angle, which is a little annoying. And in order to like make him stand up straight, you have to move his leg like outwards a little bit, like so, which is a little annoying, but still, like overall, the sculpting on this figure is still very good. So the sculpting here, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure, I think, is pretty solid. Ultraman, he's not like a lizard or like a turtle or any like creature or anything like that. He's like he's more humanoid. Like he's an alien, yeah, but like he's more of like a humanoid sort of like being. So there's not really going to be a whole lot of like scales or like fur or anything like that. But we do have a fair bit of musculature here on this figure. I think the torso is detailed nicely, like of the like abs here and like yeah, like all, just like the abs and whatnot, just detailed nicely, and even like the back here has a lot of really nice musculature. The face is detailed nicely, very smooth, but like the eyes have a nice bit of detailing, and like the ears there, they look good. And again, just a lot of really nice looking like musculature, like in the legs here, and even the feet I think are detailed, pretty nicely as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing here. Not a whole lot to say. Ultraman is very like smooth, and this is a CG model, so it's not like there's going to be any like creases in like the suit or anything like that. Because like I just said, this is a CG model, so there's not going to be a lot of that. And like I just said, Ultraman, he's not a lizard or turtle or anything like that, so there's not going to be a whole lot of like scaling or anything like that. But still, the detailing that is included with this figure or included on this figure, I think I think is pretty solid. So the detailing on this figure, honestly, I'd say it gets a pass. Now, lose some size comparisons. To start, here we have the Bandai Movie Monster series, Shin Ultraman. Here we have the SH Figuarts Ultraman 1966. Here we have the SH Figuarts Ultraman Tiga. And of course, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? I'd say yes. I do recommend getting this figure. I think this is a nice figure, The paint quality I think is very good, The articulation, it's solid, though I wish there was more range of movement in the head. The sculpting, the detailing, overall, I do think that this is a very solid figure. The lack of accessories I think is pretty disappointing, but still, overall, this is still a nice figure, and I definitely recommend that you pick this guy up. As far as price tags go, believe it or not, I actually got mine from Amazon for like a little over $70, which is not terrible. It's not super cheap, but at the same time, like I had to pay like $90 for the SH Figuarts like OG Ultraman and Ultraman Tiga, so $70 for this guy is honestly not too bad. So I do recommend getting this guy. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.